So this is the infinite stupidity. I went to Mackay and got laid, but this is part 3 of the infinite stupidity. I think about the good that was undone. Like 300,000 people being human trafficked isn't a joke, and 6,000 baby rape. Like, yeah, but the thing is about in reality, when you do good things, you're not rewarded, and that's just a fact. That's how things work. Even the people who murder for the church don't get rewarded. Sometimes they just go to jail. Um, so at this point, they didn't know what to do with me, and so the church is divided into two halves. There's the people who literally worship the devil. So you'll run into these people that tell you they're atheists when they actually worship the devil. And there's the people who worship God. And these idiots believe that there was an election and one of these people won. So what they do is they divide the church up into these sections. And the ones that worship the devil, they know the true story of the original founding of the church. They know the real things, and the people who believe in God only know the good things. They do not know the dark side. They don't know the truth. They only know the lies. Spoilers, it was the devil that won, because the fastest way to win anything is to just murder the other opponent. Yeah. Nothing about being a good guy stops a bullet. Ask Kennedy. Which another guy these people murdered. So every serial killer in America is one of these guys, and part of the reason the church took interest in me is I made a comment in high school. I said, it's weird that serial killers are all charismatic, because that's something that's taught to you. That's not something you learn. And that's why they took interest in me, because I made a common sense comment. Yeah. So, anyways, my own blue-eyed guy that's supposed to process my emotions for me and do all the things, he brings me a handgun and tells me I have to go kill 6 kids and 7 women. I tell him I'm not doing that and I'm going to fucking work. And I went to work, and I came back, and he was still there, still trying. I told him I don't use guns. No thank you, I don't use firearms. No thank you, I don't do that. No thank you. And I kept doing that, and they wouldn't fuck off, and then they eventually told me if I didn't do what they wanted me to do, they'd kill me. And I told them, fuck off. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I get the call. They have some bullshit court thing over me refusing to do my duty as a church leader. And every church leader is both the devil and God. Both ways. He murders a bunch of people. He deserves to be loved and worshipped. Murders people. It makes no sense. Makes no sense at all, and you can't make it make sense. Okay? I remember one of the guys explained to me, Jesus died for your sins. And that's the whole point of the church. It means you can do all the evil stuff and just cuck Jesus with your problems. That's what that means. That means you don't have to be a good person. Like, okay. This is why this religion is so amoral, by the way. And they don't actually just believe in God. They believe in a pantheon of gods, because every church leader is a different god and or a devil. Like Charles Manson was Mephistopheles. Every one of them, I think, and Stu's God was Samuel or some shit like that, and they apparently have trigger words to trigger their alternate psychotic murderous personalities, because you apparently need one of those to function in society with normal human beings. Anyways. These freaks, I eventually get a call, and it's Doug Boyle. And ring, ring, ring. Yeah. I disowned you. You're no longer a church leader. Yeah, because you have to be a part of the bloodlines to be a church leader. And I'd argue that's forcing your religion onto people. Like forcing it onto your kids. Arguably, it's illegal. But these people do not give a damn about the law. Okay, the law is just legal tape for them to bullshit lie and get around. So I become a non-church leader, which causes an uproar locally because there's a bunch of people who think I'm a church leader, and then suddenly I'm not a church leader. And then they explain to me, Anal Eaton Mummy God called, ring, ring, ring. You can't unchurch leader. And I'm like, what? And Anal Eaton Mummy God goes, once you do the rituals and you do all the stuff, you can't unchurch leader. And I was like, what? So then he tells me, you're a secret church leader. And we're going to leave it at that because you are. They have a word for the N word. It's basically the N word, but they say it means something else. You're basically an N word. And we have no use for you. You refuse to murder people. You refuse to come in and get raped. Like, and he was like, you don't agree with anything we do. You're continuously telling us that there are better ways outside of murder, and like we really don't have a use, and we also can't seemingly give you an alternate psychology. And I was like, that's because I'm fully developed and I'm not an emotionally stunted child. And he's right. That's why that is. We're not bad people. And I go, yes, you are. You guys are the church of devil worship. You are the place where the Antichrist will come from, inevitably. I was like, you can't walk that far off the path of goodness and scream you're getting into heaven or getting your own planet or whatever it is you people believe you're entitled to. And it is all entitlement. And he was like, isn't everything, when you own the planet, you're entitled to everything. And I own the planet and I was given nothing. And Anal Eaton Mummy God was like, tough. That's tough. And I was, yeah, tough. And I hung up on him. And I want to talk about that. Entitlement is one of the most ridiculous things ever. I remember Blondie at one point was talking about the human trafficking. And the human traffic, this is how twisted their human trafficking gets. That the members will find women who need help. Or sometimes they'll just have members of the church threaten women, make them believe they need help, and then the church will intervene and say, I saved you, now you're going to be human trafficked because we helped you. Yeah. Yeah, imagine being a princess and then needing help, and then the guy that turns up goes, I'm entitled to sex. You're gonna be my human trafficking ring. Also, we're the bad guys that threaten you. Because we're both. And this is the secret to the church over and over. And I remember Anal Eaton Mummy God, white supremacist God, was adamant I'd never tell anybody this. Because the church leader is the devil and he is God. He's both. And in my opinion, that just makes him evil. Okay? And they go on about how these guys are entitled to their worship, they're entitled to the love, they're entitled, everything's an entitlement. You've never met more entitled people. And it was kind of funny because when I was the president, the women were complaining about how entitled the men were. They're entitled to sex, they're entitled to everything. You give it to me, and this is why they never apologize. Okay, this is why they don't do gratitude. Gratitude isn't part of their practice because everything's an entitlement. It should be handed to me. And even they're funny because they go on the rhetoric about hard work, but they also hate hard work. A lot of these guys struggle in the military. They struggle at everyday jobs because they're accustomed to having it handed to them. They don't actually know how to work hard, but they think they work hard, and it's all in their head. They make it up. So yeah. Anyways, the evil guys at the like, it makes no sense because the good people basically do nothing. Like, that's what they do. They do nothing, and sometimes they murder. Apparently, like, yeah, I remember my cuddle buddy was allegedly one of the good ones, and I remember her going around the mall in Georgia following some girl and threatening her and just continue. You said words about the church we didn't like, so we're gonna kill you. And I remember her like fucking trying to poison this woman and just harassing her everywhere she went all over the mall. And I eventually was like, you're gonna stop. And I stopped her, and then she was trying to explain to me, I don't understand this because she has to terrorize this woman. The church told her to, and I was just, you're a mindless idiot. And I was like, fuck the church. And there was just this awkward stare, and she was like, I'm not telling anybody you said that. I'm not, you can't say words about the church because we'll overreact because we're fragile and everything's an overreaction. We can't just be normal. Yeah. I know. So, and she fucking continuously, just because she was ordered by the church, terrorized that woman the entire time we were at the mall. And she was like giggling and laughing about it, and then they tell you they love human suffering. Okay, that is just a fact. That is a core tenet of being a good moral member of the church, is understanding the beauty in torturing people and just causing as much suffering as you can. And the truth is these people are fucking miserable by the church. They are immiserated by the church, okay? And then they go around causing other people misery. And I think about, when I was talking to Anal Eating Mummy God, I gotta roll back this to the gas station. I was getting my coffee one morning, and I get a call, and ring, 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 and it's Anal Eating Mummy God, and he's like, hey, so there's this guy that reported my entire church as a human trafficking ring. And in his brain, he's a good person when the church is the only good thing in existence. And if your church is human trafficking, it's not a good thing. And no, you don't understand. We're the good thing. We are, you're not. I was like, good people, that guy is the good guy because he turned the church in. And Anal Eating Mummy God didn't like that. He started getting mad. I was like, you see somebody human trafficking, what do? And well, we take over their human trafficking ring and add it to the church. Brother, I gotta think of a name. Mint Balls, he's been doing it for years. He ran an entire operation. They're making him a movie. He's been taking over other people's human trafficking rings and adding for them to the church for years. Those people are never free. You see, when you're in human trafficking, it's where you belong. And that's just a fact. And what we do is we just take them, we poison them with heavy metals until they're in a suggestive state and they won't run from us, and then we put them right back into human trafficking. You see? But the good people in the church believe we're actually helping. We're good. You're not good. You just said you did a bunch of horrible evil shit to people. You're horrible. You're a horrible human being. I'm not a horrible human. You are a horrible. Oh, no. You need to. I'm going to send a guy out, and he's going to explain to you how you talk to me. I was like, I can't explain shit to me. I know how to talk to people. I'm doing it right now. Give me a minute. And he hangs up on me, and then about 6 hours later, he calls back, and he's like, you think trying to stop a human trafficking ring is a good thing? And I was like, yes, I'm against human trafficking. I was like, the average American isn't thrilled about human trafficking. I was like, the average person isn't thrilled. And he was, well, the average church member agrees with our human trafficking. And then the average church member is disgusting. You are not entitled. I am entitled. Excuse me? I'm entitled to everything. Okay? That's what you need to understand. I'm entitled to everything. It should be given to me. That's what the natural order says. Whatever, dude, I'm not interested. He was, what will it take to make you understand us? I was like, some things just don't click with people. Okay? If you're a black guy, you should never be thrilled that the Nazis are coming because they're going to murder your ass. Okay? Or you're going to be used like the tool you are. It was like, even the Confederacy, when they used black people in the Civil War, sent them to their fucking deaths. I was like, those black people were promised freedom it wasn't gonna happen because you're dealing with bastards. That's the nature of the creature. I was like, when it is evil, it is evil. There is no, it might be kind of good. You just need to take it in. And I was like, and once you drink from that evil, you become evil. You're infected. It's a disease. I do not want the disease. I do not want the infection. I do not want it near me. And he was, well, the we're not a disease and an infection. We're not. We're good people that just like murdering and human trafficking and raping babies. I got it. Buddy, I think to you, people, good isn't a thing you do. It's more of a recognition you get. Okay? I think good's an interpretation. I don't think it's an actual state of being, and I think a lot of your philosophies aren't actual states of being. I think in your head it is a representation. It's not an actual good thing. I was like, you guys are the equivalents of the dude who, some girls like my abusive husband's beating and raping me, and I was like, you guys turn up with your bullshit, you murder the guy, and then you proceed to beat and rape the woman, and the guy's, and Anal Eating Mummy God's like, that is the state. She deserves it because that's what happens. I was like, that's not what happens, that's what you do. I gotta talk to my wives. I gotta talk to my guy that processes my emotions for me. Give me a minute. And I hang up on him, and it's like the next morning, ring, 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 and I'm like, hello? And he's like, I like talking to you because you're honest. But these are the rules of the church. It doesn't matter what you think. This is how we do things. This is how it gets done. And I was like, yeah, there are better ways of doing things outside of mindlessly following the rules and murdering innocent people. But we're the victims. You're not the victims. You're the victims of your own church? Is that what you're telling me? Your horrible fucking church? You're the victims of it? The thing you're propping up? You're the victim? And I was like, shut it down. I can't shut it down. Nobody inside the church can shut it down. This is funny because Blondie literally comes to me at one point and tells me he's gonna shut down the church single-handedly. He's gonna deliberately deface the church and destroy it, and it's gonna collapse, and there's gonna be no more humans. No more human trafficking. Because the issue with Blondie, this was funny, is I was an N-word. Okay? When he found out the church was a human trafficking ring, he found out that, like, they did 9/11, he found out they are the serial killers in America. Everybody, all the church leaders react differently to their grooming, and some of them are just straight up psychotic and murder people. And the church covers it up. When they were trying to get me to join, they gave me my own investigative group, and the way their investigations work, like their investigators work at the church, is just ridiculous because the church leader can do no wrong. So their job is to do a smear campaign against whoever accused them of murder. So take Stu, for example. If he murders your kid, the church finds somebody, blames that person, and then these guys go to work putting that innocent person in jail. Yeah. Because the church leader can do no wrong. So he can murder, rape, and kill all he wants, and these dickheads with subpar investigative training cover it up. And they blame innocent people for it. Yeah. And they've put a bunch of innocent people in jail. I remember that from the FBI report. The FBI talking to me, telling me, like, because of the church leaders, there's so many people that were put in jail, and their investigative group was banned because they're not investigative. They're literally conspiratorial. They lie and make shit up. When Stu stole the money and bought the black car, their investigative group tried to cover it up. So this is the thing, if you're ever under investigation, they tell you they concluded the investigation, tell them you want another investigative team that's not the church to look over it. I chose Jews. And it created a big problem for their investigative group because they got cross-referenced and found out they were full of shit. Yeah. Shocker.